Contrary to what people feel about television, I love TV. Given the chance, anytime, any day, I'll choose movies over music. You know, movies give you a sense of reality. Movies sort of have the power to bring some reality to your space, but that's not always the case. This is the factory. Thanks to Witness for powering this episode. Like the previous episode, I'll be speaking to another fellow of the Fortifying Community Truth cohorts. And this time we're going to talk about how we can see the blurred line between reality and content creation all the way from Cameroon. Let's speak to Randy Menkemndi. Thank you for joining us, Randy.
It's really a very big honor for me to be able to share on this very important topic. So let's kickstart the conversation. I mean, it's not rocket science. So.
As a content creator, how do you ensure credibility of the information and content you share?
As a content creator and filmmaker, what I actually make sure, what I put in place is, in fact, there are processes that I put in place to make sure that the information I'm sharing via the stuffs I create have credibility and of course are accurate. And one of the things in my process is actually research. I research the information. Like for example, in 2019, I created a film about epilepsy. Now, before that film, in fact, I grew up knowing that if you hug somebody who has epilepsy, you're going to have epilepsy. I grew up knowing that if you are friends with somebody who is epileptic, you will definitely have epilepsy too. And so when I did the research, because I was really intrigued by the topic because it was, I mean, I had a lot of phobia for people who had epilepsy growing up. So when I did research, I discovered that all of that was false, and I made a film about it. So that's a very key component of my process of making sure that I release accurate and credible information to the public. So research, and also part of the research process, of course, which goes with interactions with people who have a deeper understanding of the said topic. So I interacted like with the example I just shared with medical doctors and health practitioners to just get like more information as well as families of people who are epileptic. So all that helped me to be able to give accurate and credible information. So for me, one thing I do for sure is always to research and research and research and research to be able to say, okay, this thing I'm putting out there is accurate and is credible for somebody to digest and use it as a reference.
Have you observed an increase in misinformation within the digital content spaces? And how should content creators respond to this?
Yes. So to be honest, worldwide, there's this drastic increase in misinformation, and artificial intelligence, is not helping matters because right now you can generate a picture of yourself in Chicago, in the US, while in Ghana, I can do same in Cameroon. So that shift, in technology, that drastic shift, and the endless possibilities that technology, especially artificial intelligence, provides, has led to this widespread of misinformation within the digital content space. We have people now who sit at home and create content, narrating stories as if they were there in the 80s and 70s and even in the 1900s, just to name a few. So there's that possibility now more than ever before to be able to create and narrate anything online and spread misinformation as much as possible. As a content creator, the way I respond personally is first of all understanding the tools that other content creators use to spread misinformation and understand how I can use them to be able to create content which is credible and accurate. So it's, to me, responding, other content creators should just simply respond because there's no way we're going to say government should ban AI. There's no way we're going to say government should ban this or that because these things are online at the comfort of your bedroom. You can be able to access them. You don't need permission from any government to be able to do them. You don't even need, like, I mean, there are countries in the world, like for example, Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, that I think they don't use WhatsApp, but there are people in Dubai using WhatsApp using VPN. So it is very difficult for governments to really put in place policies as far as that is concerned, especially because of the access to the internet and technology in this era. So content creators should really respond by understanding the tools and understanding how they can use those tools too. And from the perspective of verification, I think as a content creator, you want to also understand how you can verify what you're creating. So an understanding of verification, software tools is very, very, very important at this particular era in which we are in time for content creators. So those are the ways I think they can respond to the growing aspect of misinformation in the digital content space.
What role does storytelling play in fact checking and countering misinformation?
Yes, storytelling is very important and applicable in every aspect of life. If you followed even the just ended U.S. presidential election, it was all about stories, telling people what the future will be if you are elected, telling people how the past was, just to name a few. So storytelling is how can I put it? Is very, very important. It is a precious jewel in the hands of people who know how to use it. And storytelling goes hand in gloves with fact checking, because people believe whatever they choose to believe, and you have it as a responsibility as a fact checker to counter any form of misinformation by the ability of the story you have to tell, with your ability of story telling, your storytelling match the ability. So it is so important and so necessary at this particular point in time, because people don't just want to say this to see that you're telling them this thing is a lie, this thing didn't happen. They want to be able to understand what it took you, your process, because storytelling, every story, like I always say, has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So even as a fact checker, you want to be able to tell your findings or share your findings in such a way that people can easily identify the beginning, people can easily identify the middle, and people can easily identify the end, to be able to, help them believe that what you're telling them is true. So storytelling has the potential to, not only counteract not only can provide a safe space for people to understand the importance of information. So I think storytelling is an ultimate tool in the hands of especially journalists and content creators, as well as filmmakers, looking at putting out credible and accurate information into a world that is chaotic at this particular point in time.
Now, there's the concept of digital trust. Where do you see the future of this going?
Well, the good thing about this present decade is that everybody, or most people online who follow whoever they follow, know the credibility of the person. So if, for example, I'm following a popular news blog in Cameroon, I know the credibility of that blog from the stories they publish. So in the future, in the next decade, I am very certain that digital trust is going to be, first of all, very, 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 very limited to those who even want to follow digital content creators. And also, it is going to be based on the track record of the digital content creators. So digital trust is going to be based on who are you, what have you been doing, and how credible are the things you have been doing and putting out there. So, for example, if I start up a YouTube channel now, and everything on that YouTube channel is AI generated, even you watching, yes, you might love it and so on, but deep within you, your subconscious mind will be telling you, you know what, this guy is not real. But if I start up a YouTube channel, for instance, and I'm creating local news content about Accra, Ghana, you actually see the streets of Accra, Ghana. You see the round points. You go to, for example, Gimpa, the university. You go to Kwame Nkrumah Square, just to name a few, and you see my content reflecting real life Ghana, 2025 Ghana, or 2030 or 2035 Ghana. You're going to trust me more than somebody who uses AI to generate Ghana, for instance. So digital trust is going to shift more to those who are actually willing to put in the work to create content, and those who are actually willing to, foster the credibility of what they share. So digital trust in the next decade is going to be really overwhelming because a lot of people will leave the digital space because of lack of credibility, while the few who still have integrity and credibility are going to flourish.
So how can these platforms and governments work together with civil leaders to fight misinformation?
Now, again, it is very very difficult at this particular point in time to address this issue. Joining actually post misleading information that can spark, violence, just to name a few. So I think these platforms and governments need to work together by creating, for example, each government which is very concerned about, the cyber security of their country and their citizens should be able to set up a system, or let's say a program or an organ of the government that is in charge of fighting misinformation and counting misinformation online. For example, in Cameroon, there's what we call e-volunteers that I'm also a part of. And what we do basically is to counter misinformation online. And we do that on all the social media platforms. So it's a very interesting something that is being carried out in Cameroon. Like, I think it is still officially to start, but that's just like an idea of what I think governments can do with regards to their collaboration with these social media platforms to kind of fight misinformation, because the truth is that you cannot stop it. I can wake up this morning, I feel like, you know what, let me say the current president of Ghana is white. And I posted and said, you know what, the current president of Ghana is a white. Now, that is misinformation, right? But I did that from the comfort of my house. I did that from the comfort of, my bedroom and so on. But if they have to really work together with the government, it's going to be more from the part of the government to be intentional about it, because, of course, these platforms are there to serve people. So to me, again, it's just about setting up organs, programs, or systems in government that can facilitate the collaboration of with platforms, these social media platforms, to fight this information.
You've already spoken about e-volunteers, but if you are to recommend another initiative to help in this fight, what would it be?
Well, depending on the country, like for my country, Cameroon, we start learning about computers, I think, in secondary school. And what we do is we go to we have computer labs in our schools. You go there, you see they teach you the theory. The only thing you have as access to a computer, the fact that you sit in front of the computer. It will shock you to know that I was able to press a computer, like a laptop, to touch a computer and actually type something when I got to the university all my life. So if we're talking about key initiatives for media literacy today, I would say just computer studies, as basic as in primary schools. I don't know how probably you guys call primary schools in Ghana, but I hope it's the same thing.
Yeah, so it's primary school in Ghana too.
I'm talking about maybe 4 or 5 year or 6 year olds, having access to a computer, just being able to type and just being able to understand that, okay, Microsoft Word can be used for this, YouTube can be used for this, etc., etc. So that is one key initiative that I think governments can take to incorporate computer studies into the educational system as early as primary schools, and also, of course, incorporating artificial intelligence at its basic form and helping students to understand it as much as possible at the basic level of education. So I think that's an initiative that governments can take, and I think in less than no time we'll have a very a media literate society of people who understand exactly how to track and counter misinformation, and of course put out credible and accurate information.
All right, thank you very much, Randy.
Thank you.
Thank you for speaking with. Well, that's it for the factory. Join us in the next episode. My name is Echo. See you.